Anyone who knows trivia is aware of the fact that the Girl Scouts was founded by Juliette Low in 1912. My next guest was a member of Mrs. Low's very first troop in Savannah, Georgia. Please welcome Marion Aslaxon. Hi, Marion. Nice to see you. Watch your step coming up here. All right? 1912, you were recruited to be in the very first troop of Girl Scouts?
Absolutely.
Now, how old were you in 1912?
12.
12 years old. And how did this happen? How did you get chosen to be in the group?
Because I went to Pape School.
Pape?
And Miss Pape was an intimate friend of Juliette Low's. And my mother knew them all well. And so when Juliette Low came and said that she wanted to organize girl guides that she'd had in England, she went to Miss Nina, and Miss Pape said, come out to my school and select the group you want. She said, I want a group who are accustomed to working together, and I happened to be in that group.
How many people were in the first one?
12.
Yeah.
There were, well, really 18, because you see, we had a group of 6 who were a little bit more mature than we were, and the 12 hadn't gone out with boys yet, and the others started going out with boys. That's how they differentiate.
Oh, so what was the difference between the group who had gone out with the boys and the group who hadn't? I mean, aside from the obvious difference, but...
Yeah, we were about the same age.
They were the same age.
But some people didn't grow up as quick as others.
And so they felt it best to keep them separated? No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have to take any kind of test? Was there physical requirement or?
Oh, nothing. All you had to be was born in the right place at the right time.
Did they
and go to the right school?
Yeah. Now, did your parents like this idea? They think it was a pretty good notion?
They didn't care one way or the other. But my mother was an intimate friend of Miss Nina Pape.
So she thought it would be all right.
And Miss Pape said it was all right. Mother was for it. Anything that Miss Nina said.
Now, what kind of activities would the Girl Scouts do in those days? After you formed the group, how often would you meet?
Once a week, and our dues was nickel a week.
Nickel a week?
Yeah.
And
we didn't do what the Girl Scouts do nowadays. We did, we had to light a fire with one match and be able to tie 12 different knots.
Yeah.
And the only one that stuck with me was the square knot, and I use that every day.
The square knot is as I understand it, the best knot you can use for joining two loose ends of rope.
Yeah.
Did you go camping?
Not the way they do now. Miss Daisy had a cottage about 5 miles out from Savannah. And we would ride the streetcar out and get off at a little place called Sandfly, because sandflies were the pest of everybody in the spring and summer. And we would hike a mile through the woods to this little cottage. And Miss Daisy had engaged a retired botanist from Harvard to live in the cottage.
Boy, that sounds suspicious, doesn't it? A retired botanist from Harvard.
And he lived in the cottage, and his duty was to take us on walks through the woods. And the first time I walked by him, we came across a snake swallowing a frog. And he made me stop and watch it. Yeah. And have you ever seen a snake swallow a frog?
Seen a snake swallow a frog? No, I haven't.
They put the head in the mouth and then stretch them out like this. And the snake was this big and the frog that big. And
now, did you like that sort of thing?
Well, I was always interested in science.
Yeah.
He picked up the snake with the frog inside and put it in a mason jar and poured alcohol on it, and you know what happened.
No, what happened?
I bet the audience knows.
What happened?
Regurgitate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, was the frog still alive when it came back up?
No.
No, I guess.
Not after being inside the snake.
No, hoping for too much there, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Now, do you want to do this? Do you want to show us a square knot?
Yeah, oh, that's very simple.
Now, do you remember any of the laws? Didn't you have to memorize bylaws or a code
yes.
or something?
No.
Is that a square knot?
That's a square knot.
Now, here's what I thought a square knot was. Obviously, you're correct, so I've been wrong all of these years. Let me just see if I can, yeah, like this. This is what I thought was a square knot.
It has the same,
It's pretty much the same knot,
Yeah.
but, yeah, all right.
but it's right over left and left over right.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I remembered also.
Yeah.
Now, we have here, Marianne, How Girls Can Help Their Country. This was I guess, the first handbook for Girl Scouts.
Let's see.
Is that it?
This should have been written by Mr. Hoxie.
How was Mrs. Low a nice woman?
Written by Mr. Hoxie.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a botanist that she hired.
Oh, this was the guy that...
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, was Mrs. Low a nice woman?
She was an organizer.
Uh-huh.
And she was, at home, she was just as funny as could be. Nobody ever knew what she was going to do at home. She might want to stand on her head, and she'd flip up and stand on her head. But she was also...
Did the girls like her?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Was she...
But we didn't see much of her because she was so busy going around organizing us.
out spending that nickel a
yeah.
week she was collecting from you guys.
But
right.
she was really a very interesting person, and I think she had an influence on me because she used to, she married an Englishman, you know, and divided her time between England and Savannah. And I used to hear of her world travels, and I just thought, when I'm growing, I'm going to be a world traveler, too.
And were you able to be a world traveler?
I certainly was.
Well, good
you
for
know
you.
how my husband proposed to me?
No.
He said, how would you like to go to the Philippines? And I said, I'd love to.
Really? So you've been all over then, huh?
I've been in about 45 countries.
Now, you joined at 12 in 1912, but for folks who aren't quick like me with math, can I ask you what your age is?
Oh, yes, I'm 85.
85 years old. Then. Let me see if I can just find one little passage here from the manual. This is called Be Womanly. And it gives tips on, here's something called Be Strong. Sleep with your windows open summer and winter, and you'll never catch a cold. Did you do that?
No. We didn't have central heating, and it got mighty cold in Savannah in the winter months.
Too soft a bed tends to make people dream, which is unhealthy and weakening.
I never heard that.
Well, you should have been studying this. We'll take some of those merit badges away from you, Marion.
I don't have any merit badges.
What are the pins and so forth that you have on there?
This is the birthplace in Savannah, and that was a mistake. The mistake was they shouldn't have the birthplace as a Juliette Low birthplace because she just happened to be born there. She owned a house of her own, and that's the one that should belong to the Girl Scouts.
I see.
But when I alerted them that she had died and that it was up for sale, they said,